Good morning, everybody. Jim Hoffman here, pastor at St. John's United Methodist Church. It is Monday. Wow. Monday, June 19th. It is time for our daily devotion. So I want to invite you to come and join me as we gather together here on our Facebook Live event on the St. John's page. You can be a part of this moment right now, or if you watch us later on, we would encourage you to take a moment to leave a comment. For those of you that might jump on here right at the moment, I would encourage you to also leave a comment. It's going to tell me who's watching, but please say hello. Would appreciate you doing that. Got to move my bookmark in my Bible. I'm studying Philemon because I'm going to be preaching on it here in a few weeks. So, 25 verses, shortest letter. Written by Paul, but impactful. Says a lot. Where I need to be, though, is Habakkuk, because that's where we're reading out of today, is Habakkuk. Good morning, Linda. Hello, Barbara and Chris Mueller. Good morning to both of you. So, Habakkuk. Habakkuk is in between Nahum and Zephaniah in the book of 12 prophets. So it would be called the latter prophets, or maybe the minor prophets, whichever one you want to use as a term, or the 12 prophets at the end of the Old Testament. You get to Jonah, Micah, Nahum, and then Habakkuk. Habakkuk. Hi, Jack and Pat. Good morning to the two of you. And hello, Susan. Good morning to you. Habakkuk chapter 3, verses 16 through 19. 16 through 19. That's where we're reading today. So I washed my car on Saturday. You're welcome for all the rain yesterday. It always seems to happen, and that's my luck. Now I got to run my car through a $10 car wash real quick so I can wipe it off again. First world issues. Habakkuk chapter 3, verses 16 through 19. Got a door guy here fixing a couple of our doors, that one that doesn't want to open and two that don't want to close. Habakkuk chapter 3, verses 16 to 19. Again, if you're watching this later, don't forget leave a quick comment. Say hello if you would, please. Our opening prayer. O God, by your spoken word, you created everything that is. By your incarnate word, you redeemed us. By your comforting word, you are with us still. So prepare us now to hear your word to us this day. Amen. Habakkuk, chapter 3, beginning in the 16th verse. I hear and I tremble within. My lips quiver at the sound. Rottenness enters into my bones, and my steps tremble beneath me. I wait quietly for the day of calamity. I come upon the people who attack us. Though the fig tree does not blossom, and no fruit is on the vines, though the produce of the olive fails, and the fields yield no food, though the flock is cut off from the fold, and there is no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will exult in the God of my salvation. God the Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer, and makes me tread upon the heights. To the leader with stringed instruments. Our devotion writer today is Laura Kuhn, and Laura is from Connecticut. Her focus verse is actually from 1 John chapter 3, The second verse. We are children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known. But we know that when Christ appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Here's Laura's devotion. My sister always flips to the back of a new book to see how the story will end. Not me. I love entering into the world of the characters and joining them on their journeys. I have no interest in knowing how things will end ahead of time. I can't say the same for my own life. I'd love to peek at the future. Soon my last child will reach adulthood. For years, being a mom has given me purpose. What will happen when that role ends? The book of Habakkuk gives me comfort, for Habakkuk laments the violence and destruction that surrounds him. His situation doesn't change, yet by the end of the book he is rejoicing. What made the difference? God tells him how the story ends. I imagine God saying, "Don't worry, Habakkuk, I've got this. It's going to be okay." Knowing God's plans for the future renewed Habakkuk's faith in God's sovereignty in the present. Confusion and fear lost their grip on his heart. I may not know what my life will look like in a few years, but as is Habakkuk's case, God has shown me how things will end. For one day I will be remade in the likeness of Christ and will live with him forever. Now that's worth flipping to the end. Thought for the day: in times of uncertainty, I want to trust my future to God. I think that's a fascinating thing. If you really think about much of the news and the way the commentary goes on much of the news of today, realistically, it is all about what is to come. It's trying to figure out how to predict the future, and will the future be better than the current circumstances, or will the future be worse off than the current circumstances? If you listen to any kind of maybe daily devotional that's trying to take you through the Bible, so I'm listening to Father Jonathan Schmitz, who is doing a Year in the Bible podcast, and when you get through books like 1st and 2nd Kings and 1st and 2nd Chronicles, you get a lot of the story of what's transpiring. And there was a promise that was made, and the promise was that if the people would simply make sure that God was their God and they worshiped God only and they kept God's commands faithfully, then the people would be blessed and would remain in the land, and they would be a blessing to all the rest of the world. It's when they started losing sight of that, and they started following other gods, and they started worshiping other things and other idols and stuff, then they lost track with what was true for them, and their future became confusing. It was rife with war. It was rife with people coming in and conquering the land. It was rife with deportations of the rich and the nobility. And it was rife with people finding themselves destitute and wondering where God was. They simply got off track, and so their future became uncertain. For those of us who immerse ourselves in God's love and find ourselves in times of devotion and find ourselves in community with other people and find ourselves serving, maybe I believe that in some ways, some of this anxiety about the future is mitigated. It's only when we focus on the other idols in our lives, our own safety and security, our own comfort, pleasures, our own agenda, things like that. That's, I think, when we begin to feel like things are uncertain for us. But when we find ourselves focused on what God would have us do each and every day, and the person that God desires us to be, the good neighbor who's sharing the good news with the world around us, when we focus in on that, then maybe some of the rest of the things will just wane away and won't be as pressing upon us or as concerning to us, because we're focused on other things. And so I would encourage you to think about what it means to be a person who is like Christ in this world, focused on others and the needs and the circumstances of others, focused on the things that are of the kingdom of heaven that are brought here to earth, and how we are to be God's people, sharing God's good news with each person that we come in contact with. It's a challenge for me, friends, to be honest with. I'm one of the folks that in sometimes is, gets wrapped up in some of the uncertainty. And I need this as much as anybody else. I need to be a person and need to know that I'm called to be a person that each day is more focused on the things of God than the things of this world. And in that, I would find that much of my uncertainty would probably wane away, or I'd find that it isn't as important to focus on as some of the other things that truly are. So let's pray today that maybe God will help us see what it means for us to focus on God's presence, to trust God with our future, and to simply focus on what it means today to be a good neighbor that simply brings God's good news to the world. Let us pray. So gracious God, thank you for revealing to us the glorious end. Help us to trust in your good plan that is for our lives, and we pray this in Christ. Amen. Well, good morning, Barbara Paddock. Good to see you this morning. Again, quick reminder for those of you that might watch this later today, don't forget, leave a quick comment and say hello. I would appreciate you doing that. If you would like, feel free to post this on your own Facebook page so that maybe some of your family and your friends get a chance to follow along with our devotions as well. As I have been encouraging you, for the past few weeks or so, take a moment to pray for one another if you would, please. Please know that I am praying for you today, and I would invite you to take an opportunity to pray for me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. God's peace and grace be upon you, and I will look forward to being with you tomorrow for our devotion time. Thank you, friends.